This week, Parliament started on fire. Eish! That was real fire. Speaker Monk started by directing the Attorney General and the ministers in charge of Justice and Internal Affairs to give an update on the case of Dr. Besigye's continued detainment in Luzira. Immediately suspended the House for 10 minutes. They go into the session and for 10 minutes, they are discussing the next steps. Shortly after, she comes back to the House and tells us that they have sent those ministers and the Attorney General to ensure they can bring an update at 4 p.m. Like I said, it started on real fire. Yeah. And at around 5, they didn't come at 4. We all realized that the ruling, which was supposed to be given by the High Court on the habeas corpus, which was trying to ensure Dr. Besigye comes to the courts of laws, was brought from the 25th to Monday of the week that we just ended, if you realized. So Parliament acted so boldly, and MPs were all up in arms saying that was like very good national leadership. Right, Honorable Speaker. The second issue that did happen last week is that the Minister of State of Finance, Economic Planning, that is the Honorable Alinganyira Musasizi, tabled a proposal of government to borrow 191 million US dollars. That is 697.8 billion shillings to buy out Umeme. Yes, Umeme. Umeme is leaving the country. Government is not extending its contract. So government is going to buy it. But they don't have money, so they are going to borrow it. Now, Umeme is a South African company. They are going to get money from Stanbic Bank, which is also a South African company. So that was a joke on Twitter. Like, it's just South Africans borrowing themselves South Africans. Money just leaving one South African pocket, going to another South African pocket. And of course, the taxpayer will have to bear that burden. And that is very vital, because you need to be interested in the nationalization of certain public goods like electricity and whether it is going to keep the efficiency happening. And people are already saying, okay, we know Memo was like not very good, but if the distribution of electricity goes into the hands of government, is it going to be better than NRM? Like a kind of thing of better the devil you know than the angel you don't know. So yeah, it's kind of tough. We don't know what you think. You can kind of tell us about what you think. Still, in Parliament last week, there was a report still which came to the table on giving tax waivers to selected businesses. And yes, Parliament was up in rows, really asking why is it that certain people get tax waivers and others don't? And the committee specifically rejected proposals from specific businessmen to receive tax waivers. And again, Parliament is saying, what is the standard? The next thing that happened in Parliament is that still the State Minister for Finance, who is Honorable Alinganyira Musasizi, brought to Parliament an amendment bill to ensure that the Income Act is amended to ensure that Wujagari hydropower plant income, the income that comes from that plant, is exempted from any taxation, that is income tax. He says if we subject it to any tax, then the power tariff across the table to industries, also to the ordinary person, will go up. Of course, MPs were not happy about it. One specific MP actually asks a fundamental question. That's Honorable Muhammad Nsereko. He asks, okay, if multinationals for the last 5 years have been asking for tax waivers, and that's what we promised them, right? For them to come to our country, what about the ordinary person? And he says we should be revisiting such a tax regime which does not even favor multinationals. So the idea is that if it doesn't favor multinationals, what about the ordinary person? And I think that was quite a coherent argument from the good MP for Kampala. And that's like very important. Okay, away from the serious stuff. So as you well know, Pastor Sempa the other week had brought ideas around how marriages should be consummated or they should be annulled by the marriage bill. Okay, so this week, the Interreligious Council of Uganda, led by Pastor Serada, went to Parliament and said they support the clauses that say that anyone who is doing cohabitation should face 3 years in jail or pay 10 million. So yes, in case you are cohabiting, if this law comes up, they're coming for you. Again, Church of Uganda comes to Parliament, and when they come to Parliament, they go before like a committee. This is the Committee on Gender, Labour and Social Development, plus the Committee on Legal Affairs in Parliament. They say that, and this is just like a summary for Church of Uganda's position, which is that, one, prenups, you know, prenups, the ones you normally hear, like we need to first sign some form of agreement that we shall not share wealth before we come into our marriage, or post-nuptial agreements. They say that such clauses in that bill should get out. Yes, they are very, very particular about that those clauses should get out too. They say that that bill should set fundamental grounds upon which those grounds for divorce should be celebrated. The idea is that divorce, of course, has certain values which society celebrates. For example, if there is violence, if there are other specific grounds, but the bill was not very clear on those grounds, and they're saying, let's have that. The other is that marriage should be like voidable if one of the parties changes sex. The idea there is to say that if you change like sex, like you say, today I've woken up, I'm a man, those kinds of things, you know them, then that marriage becomes null and void. Lastly, but this is not like the entire summation of their assignment, of their submission, they say that, look here, it's important that we don't give the minister a lot of powers to define what marriage is. We need to institutionalize it, such that a minister in the future may not wake up and say, the law gave me power to define what marriage is. I'm therefore going to say if a cow and a goat choose to marry, then like that is going to be a marriage. And that was really, really heated up. Still, a legal scholar from the Islamic University in Uganda had this to say. They say that the clause in the law which says that people can not consummate their marriage, but can get married on Zoom or any other virtual software should be removed. The idea is that if you guys like can't even come like to just have physical vows, either at the at the registrar's office or in church or in a mosque or anywhere where you choose to celebrate your marriage, then how will you even consummate that marriage? She makes the argument that since marriage has quite a lot to do with the official declaration that people should officially engage in their conjugal rights, then it's important that it is done in person. Lastly, as you well know, after the Supreme Court judgment, yes, the government started processes to ensure they can reform the UPDF amendment bill to accommodate the military court-martial about the questions that the Supreme Court raised. Now, officially, the chief whip of the NRM government in Parliament, who is none other than Honorable Anson Obua, did withdraw that bill, citing the need to realign that very bill with to align that very, very bill with the issues of the Supreme Court judgment. Now, this very week on Wednesday at 7:30, the Center for Policy Analysis is organizing a Twitter space on the UPDF amendment bill and how if it's passed or if the amendments they are saying are coming continue, whether it will not clash with Article 92 and 91 of the Constitution as that happens. Lastly, and again, you can just see on the screen, the leader of opposition said that kidnappings have resumed in Uganda. He made a list. He made a statement which had a list of 7 names of National Unity Platform leaders who have been abducted in broad daylight. And as of the week that we are talking about, the Deputy Attorney General, Honorable Jackson Kafunzi, was directed to release a statement to that effect. So, see you. I don't know what you think about what happened in last week, but on my end, it was quite a full bucket of drama and politics. See you the other week.